Welcome everyone to the Lotus Sanctum. My name is Chris, and today is a timeless message that I'll be tapping into Source, to Goddess more specifically, and transmitting the message that she has in store for you. And so at this time, what I'm being asked to look at is seeing the magic, seeing the full spectrum of your abilities, and embodying it. So, what does that look like? And so, sometimes when we are embodying our fullest light, our fullest magic, um, what's possible? Uh, what's possible? And let me just work on that lighting. There you go, much better. Okay, and so what's possible? Um, the ability to see yourself in the way you express and own the ideas that come through, the inspirations that move you, the internal clock and time that it has, where it knows when to do something, when to learn something new, and when to implement something and put it out, right? The output, the service. Your body knows, your mind knows, everything has already been um, set. We have the capacity to practice how to listen to that timing, how to acknowledge what is coming through, to acknowledge the time that is coming through, to acknowledge the vision that you have, to be okay with not having the clarity on how to execute something, and at the same time being moved by the inspiration and having the courage to move, the dynamic movement, the dynamic pulsation that brings you to flow. And it's like your brain, it's like it's the equivalent of your brain telling your legs to walk, to move. You just think and it just happens, right? It becomes second nature. And it's that working muscle that you are learning to practice when it comes to living your magic, living the stories and the visions that are wanting to show up and communicate themselves and be expressed through you. These visions, these stories, they love and they want to be told by you. They don't want no one else. No, they want you to tell the story. And so owning what is available and having the capacity to say what needs to be said, to create what wants to be created, to be inspired by something, and the output of it could be vastly different from what you had seen, what you had anticipated would be the outcome. And at the same time, it's like what you have created now you have a base foundation for it, and from there you get to grow and evolve what is and has come through. And so that's quite a beautiful place to be, where you get to express yourself, where you get to not only be the one um, putting out, but also to be the one that watches the self be in magic, be in flow, be in creativity, sorry, be in expression. Yes. So to be in expression, to be in um, this full flow of movement, you begin to see also the way you move cyclically and how you operate and what and how each cycle brings to you the lessons that it teaches you and how you move through it in the best way possible. And this way you learn what you need to learn for you to receive the next form of information and growing and expansion. All of this is a natural way of you being and of you being the one, the first person to experience the full spectrum of your magic, to experience your essence, to experience your light, to experience your magic. So know that it's okay that the people around you don't move the way you do. They just don't. Um, and it's okay that people don't understand it. It's okay that sometimes not everyone knows how to help you to move through this phase. And it's okay that you might go through a little bit of a disruption with certain people where you know they can help you and at the same time still not giving you the results and the output that you're looking for, that you know is possible. That level of expansion that could exist for you is quite magical because it's up to you to communicate what is your need, when and how things are moving, and also how to get to the place that you know is possible. Hmm. Okay. Um, and so where this takes us to next is knowing when and how your body and your mind, your soul, your spirit wishes to tell a story. First, you gotta live it for you to then tell the story. Certain stories you'll be able to speak of, others just kind of begin to trickle in. And you get to move through what needs to be. You get to find yourself, you get to meet aspects of yourself that you have been afraid to share with people. That, oh, what if that slips out? This is that. And learning to become comfortable with what comes out of who shows up and knowing that you do not have to apologize for it and that you can be purely magical in what's available for you, what's available for people to experience of you, and to know that you are met exactly where you are. Um, there are people that will not like it, and there are those that will. And at the same time, you do not have to share everything with everyone. At the same time, you do not have to even accommodate everyone at every time. The main thing is accommodating yourself. You can potentially adapt to yourself to um, hold space for someone that is uncomfortable with you and expresses that discomfort. But even that, it's up to you. in what way you're going to do that and how you're going to move through that. And so, telling a story, telling your story, it starts with you living. It starts with you creating and um, having stories to tell, talking about your experiences, speaking about your inspirations. Um, there's just this free flow and the ability to allow your mind to just um, move through, your mind to just flow, to not hold yourself back from letting out what needs to come out. Sometimes I understand it's not everything needs to be said in every place. At the same time, it is important to have at least one place that you can show up in whichever mood you're in and let out whatever wants to come out. Having one place in your life where you could do that. And that does not mean another human being. Human beings can be supportive, but the level of expression could be also damaging. So maybe having a community, group of people, right? That always is helpful. Um, but also practices that you can adopt that would help you to release and not to just like build up and then explode when you have that time. It's what can you do in your daily life that gives you the space for you to visit what wants to come out and what is yearning to the stories, the anger, the emotions, the sadness, the grief, the pains, the pleasures, the curiosities. Where is it in your life that you can express the full self? And instead of someone else receiving it, there is importance in that. Is there a place where you yourself can show up fully, authentically, in your wholeness, power, and magic just for you? If you can do that for your own self, go for it. If you have that environment and that space, please do go for it. You will grow in a way that you get to meet the truest, fullest, expressive, sensual side of you that maybe you would typically not show. And it could be a little daunting, a little like, oh, is someone gonna say something here? And you'll maybe even get met with certain stories and ideas, and you're like, oh, okay. Um, but knowing that it's not only for you to go through on your own, but it's also having the courage to talk about it with someone too. Um, this is where community comes into place. You know, each aspect of a community plays into another aspect, and the culmination of various communities is that it can provide a support system for you, a system. It doesn't mean it's one space that contains the system. It's multiple components that create a system for you to navigate through the life and for you to have the ability to be able to communicate what needs to come through and for you to have the capacity to express what wants to come through. Telling a story of the way you want to speak, of the way you want to look, the way you want to dress, the way you um, are to be perceived and received as well. Um, the tales that you want people to tell of you, the way that you want people to remember you. All these little things, they are quite beautiful places. And that also comes from knowing and hearing the shameful places, hearing the guilt, um, hearing the deep sadness, the grief, also listening to the rage. These more dense and lower vibrational emotions and experiences, they want to be heard. They want to be expressed. They want to be acknowledged. Allow for it to exist. Give it, give it the space that it needs and the experience that you wish to have with it. Just because something looks like it's leaving, it doesn't mean that it is. And sometimes the thing that is wanting to leave, let it leave. And you'll know that you get to put something else there. It's not a space that becomes empty and stays empty. It always, there's always something that wants to occupy it. The thing is, you get to express what you wish to occupy in it. And this is where the transformation happens. This is the place of true transformation. Um, and so having the courage and the capacity to live through that, to move through that, and have yourself be unapologetic about the way you express yourself, about the way you experience pain, about the way you have showed up in your life, and know that you can tell the story that communicates with others how to how you've moved through life and the joys and pleasures you have as much as the pains and deep sadness that you carry. Nothing is being grasped onto, but it's allowing to move. It's being allowed to move and to not linger, but to continue to move. And that's where telling a story becomes liberating because it opens up the doors for a new story to be um, created, a new story to be experienced. And it could be things that you may have not even fathomed was possible, and yet it's here. And so give yourself the permission to actually wonder what are stories that might be told that I have not even thought was possible, good or bad. But for you to even get there, it's having the capacity to live through the stories that already were experienced, were already lived through. And it's through that that you see something else. And so allowing yourself to tell the story that you have seen. Um, and you're not regurgitating what someone else has told, but you firsthand experiencing the full spectrum. Okay, I am being told that is complete, and so I'm going to be leaving this message here, and I will speak to you guys soon. Bye.